Hey everyone, I'm here reviewing the AyaNeo Pro 2021 model. I got it in a couple days back, and I want to show you in the review what other reviewers didn't show me yet. So I did two upgrades to this machine. As you can see in other videos, there's a guy who replaces the Thermal Grease, and I did the same. I replaced it with the Thermal Grizzly Kyronaut, which is my favorite. And I upgraded the SSD with a 2 TB version of the Western Digital Blue. I like their choice because it's the best low power usage SSD that's around with this capacity. I did a clean install of Windows, and as you can see, I already installed some applications. First, let's take a listening to the fan noise. If I stay quiet, it's really nice. This is me whispering. So it's really silent. That I like a lot. If you look at the thermals, I upgraded the thermal, the TDP up to 45. The safe max temperature is 105. For this test, I leave it at 100. With other daily use, I wouldn't put it higher than 85 degrees Celsius. These are all default settings, by the way. And I put the TDP to 45, and the clock of the GPU has to stay high. I want a lot of power to go to the GPU and not to the CPU. That's also something I found out. If you want more power to go to your GPU, make sure you put a higher boost frequency and it will draw the power to the GPU. So let's do a couple of benchmarks and let's see at the thermals. Right now it's idling at 43. Oh, it's going down again, 40, 39 even. When it's really cold, it goes below 30. You see, I've already done a few tests in the meantime. It went to 85 degrees and a TDP of almost 32 watts. And let's start with GTA 5. It took me a while to get it to run because the servers were so overloaded. Yeah, but let's see, it's one of my favorite pastime games. And I'm running this. With a Bluetooth keyboard and a Bluetooth mouse. As you can hear, the upgraded sound speakers are way better. What I heard from the videos of other people and what I experienced myself, you even hear the bass in that music. It's really nice. They also upgraded the triggers within your triggers. They're okay, not as sensitive as my Xbox controller. And here we are. Let's take a look at the settings. We go down to the graphic settings. And here we see use the DirectX 11 version, native resolution, full screen. No optimizations, VSync disabled, I like that, more snappy. And the screen is not how you call it, FreeSync screen, I believe. So let's not tweak that enough. Then we see, I put it all at normal. I think the AMD shadows works best with an AMD chip. And I like the tessellations, I put that on normal instead of off. Now we go to the story, no, not to the story mode. It's again at the settings. And here the graphics, we can do the benchmark, so let's test it. Yes, we're sure. We'll say sit back and enjoy. You can hear the fan noise is quite moderate. FPS is well above 60, so it's very playable at normal settings. Here even up to 100, even 110 I still come by. Really strong speakers, I have to talk hard. And here the SSD is showing its nice work, even above 110 FPS, loading smoothly, no artifacts. And I have to speak up, so strong are the speakers, so it's really enjoyable. And there's the only point where it dipped below the 60 FPS, but still very playable. Now you guys might wonder, hey, what if you disconnect the USB power and use a much more sensible TDP? Well, let's try it out. First we have to wait till the game boots up. There we go. And let's do some alt tapping. So it peaked at like 31.5 watts. Right now it's consuming 25 watts of steady power, 72 degrees Celsius, not bad. Now, at the clock, well, mine goes up to 43.25 something, and as you see, the GPU clock is steady fixed to that. It's a little bit overclocked, 50 Hz, megahertz overclocked, but hey, it's really easy with this unit. So let's turn this down to, let's say, 20 and see what happens. Apply settings. And let's do that test again. Graphics. And attack. Yes. So once more, if you guys get bored, you can skip this and move to the next part. True guys, I had to disconnect the USB power. But I don't think that matters that much. As expected, the frames per second are a bit lower, but still very playable. This might be noticeable, and to my surprise, the resolution is dynamically scaling. I didn't disable this option, but it's interesting to see it at work. Still very playable frame rates. And there we will have a worse scene. Oh, still very playable. So let's plug in the power again and go for our next benchmarks. First, we have to wait for this game to restart. And there we are. Let's quit it. Yes. So, and I'm going to put this up again to the 45 watts. There we go. And apply. So, for our next test, we do the Doom Eternal. Many reviewers stated that this game was not playable on the AyaNeo or with such low frame rate that it wouldn't make any sense. Let's see how it goes. And there we are. Let's take a look at the settings. Video, native resolution, dynamic scaling was enabled, I saw on the bottom. And you see all settings are put in at low. This game is really good looking, so putting everything at high at a mobile device, why would you? For me it's all about being playable and being enjoyable. So let's see where I was with the game. Here we go. Loading time is really nice. And there we go. So, and here we're outdoors. As you can see in the upper left, we're at 61 FPS, 63 FPS. Really nice. Let's look around and see how the FPS goes. 65 FPS even. Gameplay is really smooth. So, now let's change the power settings and put it again at 20 and see how that will affect the game. apply. Still want to go to power to go to the GPU. And let's disconnect the USB power to make it a fair fight. Still aligned? Yes. Here, let's have a look. And our FPS is around 53. $48, $50. Doesn't feel as snappy anymore, but you see, I don't do it daily. But they're back again at 57, 56. Let's try the checkpoint again. And here we go. This whole time it's averaging between, let's take a look here, big open space, around 53 I would say. What do you guys think? Oh, there we go. Doesn't feel as snappy, but it works. So let's do our next test. Back to the desktop, yes. And again, let's increase that power. So at 45, apply. Plug this in. And for my next test, we go for the Cinebench. Now we don't need that power to go to the GPU anymore. So let's have it all go to that CPU. In the meantime, let's check our thermals and our frequencies. Still looking nice. Back at 55. So it didn't go beyond the 87 degrees, even with the limit of 100 degrees Celsius. It's looking good. So let's try this out. As you can see, I'm not a native speaker, but I hope you guys enjoyed this review. For time purposes, I'm only going to show the multi-core test because it goes really smooth and fast. Let's check that out. Oops, I put it on the time limit. Let's do that again. Advanced options off. And there we go, multi-core. Whoops, there it goes. Really awesome. Let's look at the thermals in the meantime. 78, 45 watts. Now we start to hear some fan noise. It's not the maximum fan noise, I believe. Like when it boots up for like 1 second, you're like, go really high. But one of the things I was concerned about is the whine of the fan. Maybe some coil whine in there. And a lot of noise. Like in my computer, I've upgraded all the fans with Noctua fans. And now people cannot even hear if the computer is on or not. With this machine, if the room is really quiet, you know that it's on, but it's not annoying to me in person. You see, the test is almost finished. Really kicks. It's multi-core. And there we are. Well, I've seen a little bit higher scores before. What do you say? Shall we crank it up a little bit more? Let's do the 50 watts. Apply. Just because we can. Temperature is 82. Power use it's around 38 with peaks of 52. So as you can see, it doesn't really go beyond 38 watts. My guess is it's the max amps the motherboard is allowed to deliver, and to respect that setting and also respect the max temp. As you can see, this cooling option is really doing its job. I can remember this video from Linus Tech Tips. He shows this device is throttling, not performing well in the Cinebench multi-core test. Well, as you can see here, guys, it's not hitting the roof, so very doable. As you can see, it's finishing snappy. I even believe it will put some modern CPUs at the shame, we say in my language. Up there we go again. So right now it's averaging above the 9,000 points. I've had up a score that was a little bit higher in the past, but since this is real and real-time video, yeah, you can all see that it's this real deal. So I think this about concludes my review, and I really can recommend using better drivers. When I read on the fora, there's some better Wi-Fi drivers. I'm not so near to my Wi-Fi hotspot at the moment, but I had constant speeds up to 108 megabytes per second. Yes, real megabytes per second. And let's take a look at the devices in there. One of the questions I had to myself before I received the unit was, what kind of sound chip is used? Well, from the driver package that was included by the AyaNeo, it was an ALC 265. Well, since the ALC is supported by the Realtek AAF audio pack, you can install the drivers, and I used to only add the Sound Blaster Connect 360 drivers, which gives amazing sounds. I really liked it on my second last gaming motherboard from MSI, and I was so happy this driver included it. And about that Wi-Fi driver, on the fora they show you the little bit newer air network adapters. So it's a bit confusing, but it's the 3.2.0.213, and it's from last August. That made me achieve those nice Wi-Fi 6 speeds. Maybe it could even go higher, but my Wi-Fi unit is connected with a gigabit cable, and that usually maxes out at around 130 megabytes per second. So 108, not that bad. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my video and answered a lot of your questions. If you have any questions, well, put them below, and I would say everybody who likes to enjoy the AyaNeo, feel free to do, because in my eyes it's an amazing product, and it shouldn't be such difference from the Steam Deck, I believe. If you tune this device properly, and if you go for the Pro model, give it a fair chance. And besides, this unit is available right now. And the Steam Deck still has to be presented, and the latest news was that it was 2 months delayed. So, guys, I would say check it out. Bye!